Hello and welcome to another Aoe2 post-game commentary. Today we have another Black Forest game. It's 4v4, and trust me when I say this game is a really good game. This game just shows the spirit of never giving up and the spirit of trash prevailing against the odds. And honestly, this game uses a lot of unorthodox methods, a lot of pushes, a lot of comebacks, and generally this is a really awesome game that we all had fun playing. And yeah, let's get right into it. I am playing as Saracens. Endless Charge is playing as Mongols. We have Celts as Hernandez, we'll call him Hernandez, and we have Calamitous as Aztecs. We have Teutons as Zentius, and we have Mayan as Byzantians. We have Franks as Kes, and we have Remis as Goths. Let's speed things up a bit, and we immediately see Calamitous is going for that early wall. He does want to secure that gold. It's more valuable than that stone, of course. We're seeing some sheep over here, and I do go for that early forward wall. We're going to see a wolf over here, and we're going to see a village over here. The villager has died. I did focus down the villager to ensure I do kill the villager as fast as possible. There is a wolf here, and that wolf is going to die as well. Endless Calamitous over there has taken 2 villages to wall up, so he has secured walling his side. I am just gonna try and use my villager to try and kill this scout over here. The scout does run away. As to what this villager is gonna do, I have no idea. Oh, yes, I am gonna go around to wall over here, but here there are 2 walls, so there's gonna be a bit of a problem here to wall. I did not realize that having walled here, the best situation would have been to wall here, but I realized that later. I didn't wall up. The scout is following us. He's going to try and see what we're doing over here. My scout cavalry is on 3 HP, just 1 more hit and he's going to die. I immediately begin walling here. However, both Goths, cavalry archer, and scout cavalry and yellow scout cavalry are here. My scout cavalry is dead, and there's really nothing I can do to save this build over here. So I keep pinging multiple times for Calamitous to save me, but instead he rushes past, and just when I thought I was going to survive, a wolf is on my trail, and Gremis comes in to deal the finishing blow. Purple here, Calamitous, was it Calamitous? Nope. Purple, I tried to wall up, but he is gonna go for a lumber camp over here. Interesting. Okay, I guess okay, I see. So we're gonna see some battle here. What is this? The Eagle Scout has died. Oh my god, 1 HP and 3 HP. These lucky guys indeed. Orange is gonna be walling up over here in this side. Purple, as for this villager here, he tried to wall up here, but he realized that walling there isn't beneficial, and he went and built his lumber camp over there. This pond here, although there's only 3 fish, this pond here, this lake here is going to be very, it's going to determine the fate of when we push here. You'll all understand when that time comes. We're seeing some more villagers dying. Green has sent his villager here to try and deal with it. His Endless Charge is going to try and take care of this wolf over here. Endless Charge does have the highest score. Being Mongols, that is not surprising. He does get that massive bonus. Scout cavalry is going to be green is going to be finishing this wall over here, and with that the wallings are done. Now During this game, I had a lot to think about and how we were gonna try and beat these players. Although our team has the larger score right now, that isn't really representative of what these players are able to do. As for on my side, again, just simply more walling here. Grim is trying to wall up here. More walling battles here, and I believe Green is going to keep his villager here, perhaps build houses and more walls here. So it's good for our team. We're seeing a boar hunt here, accompanied by a wolf who is ferociously attacking. This villager did not give two shits about this wolf. Finally, she has beaten him with her bare hands. What a woman that must have been. But we're finally seeing meal. Luckily, five boars, not bad. One, actually seven, not bad. And he has 2 extra sheep, so he's gonna get a lot of food income very early as well. Nobody utilizing any shorefish. This is a very good area to dock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 fish, perfectly dockable. You will gain an advantage for that. As for this area, wow, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 and his deer are there, and there's a shorefish. So that is a very good situation for Mongols. Having 5, even having extra boar is very good for the Mongols. He's gonna get a massive boost. Massive boost. He's also the first one to feudal age, I believe, to press feudal. Not surprising. It'd be surprising if he didn't, but he managed to do it. As for the strategy this game, I was thinking, at this point, that Goths would be a very powerful enemy. Saracens, in my opinion, Saracens can deal with the Goths, but not as easily as one would think. It require a lot of gold, as you'd need quite a lot of Mamelukes and siege onagers to try and deal with a Goth rush and a Goth spam, especially when it's Huskars or as such. So I was thinking that I needed to rush him as fast as possible to try and not let him boom. Luckily for me, the Goth player was not the pocket player and the flank player, so rushing him, even putting a little amount of strain on him, meant that I'd be able to not allow him to get a good eco, and that was my whole plan. That was the whole plan I went with trying to rush. So I tried to do a castle drop here to try and then go forward and push on and see what I could do from there. We're just seeing we're seeing a barracks from green. Are we gonna possibly see a militia rush? So what? But if, forgive me for having not noticed, but as I recall, during this time of the game, green realizes that this teal player is Goth, so he won't be able to wall, and he hasn't house walled as well. So he's utilizing that fact to make militia and to try and push in. He might also build man at arms. I'm not too sure. I don't exactly recall what happened, but we'll see what he makes. Endless charge, having a blast over here with like one fisherman doing his thing, and even more. Look at his score, highest score so far. Calamitous right behind him, and me at the moment not really doing so well in terms of score. We also have yellow and the 2 pocket players doing on par with both what these players are doing. So in terms of balance, I think this game is balanced quite well. If we look at, this is one of the reasons why I think the game this was a really amazing game, as the more balanced games are, generally the more enjoyable and tactical and just generally fun they are and a blast to play. And this was one of those games. I'm going Castle Age very soon. We are going to be seeing barracks and archery range from Grimace. So maybe he's realizing that there is going to be a rush imminent, or he's preparing for something. We're seeing militia here and a few militia here. Let's have a look at green. Let's exactly see what he's trying to do. I even forgot green's name. Yes, green is this. So he has 3 militia out. He's making more stable, so he's gonna most likely try and go for a scout cavalry or night rush. We'll see. Calamitous massive on the score lead. First to also arrive to Castle Age, I believe. I'm not sure. Yes, first to arrive in Castle Age. Now I'll start making my castle here, and the reason why I make it here and not inside is because I had no idea. Like, luckily I didn't make it outside, as I would have been accompanied by these archers and he would have immediately have seen, and even a couple of archers would have really hurt me. But that is one of the reasons why I send at least a large number of villagers to castle drop, to make sure that castle goes up. If you're gonna go all out, you might as well go all out and try and do the best you can. Calamitous is going for a boom. He has built a couple of watchtowers. He's trying to see what his enemies are seeing, and he's just gonna wall up here as well. He's going for a full boom, even though he is flanked, so he's trying to play the normal way. We're seeing militia. Interesting. We're seeing militia. We're seeing scout cavalry. We're seeing upgrades for. Actually, no, they're general upgrades. +2. In feudal age, scouts get +2 anyway. So that's just their bonus. But yeah, we're seeing a lot of militia. We're seeing man at arms finally, but yet no attack. I've begun my attack. I've built a monastery, and I am gonna go for a monk / Mameluke rush. As for why Mamelukes, simply because I had a castle, and that was the only really unit I could build at that point. I still continued with the 1 TC boom because I really wanted to micromanage this and really destroy Teal as much as possible. When I saw that Teal was in feudal age, I was immediately happy, but as soon as I began my rush, he has become castle age. So I did realize that there was going to be a castle here built. So at least the castle in this area here will not be. Here, I'm just trying my best to micro with this Mameluke, trying to get hits off. I send my monk to try and heal this Mameluke, try and get some conversions going. I do get 1 conversion. Oh, pardon me. Trying to just again micro and try and using this monk to heal up my Mameluke, and luckily evaded near death. We have this another Mameluke attacking, and skirmisher down, archers down, also him down. Again, green just hanging out there, and I had no idea that green had an army, and had this army come earlier, maybe. His army does mobilize now, but maybe a bit sooner would have helped, maybe. I do send an archer here just to respond and try and see what's going on, and I do have 3 Mamluks, and I see a castle being built, and here, luckily I built a mangonel, so I'm gonna try and see if I cannot snipe down and prevent this castle going up. So green is here just trying to destroy the buildings, nothing too fancy going up here. We do see a castle drop, so he's gonna Calamitous is gonna prevent this the stone being mined there, and again this mangonel killing so many villagers. Endless charges also here with his Mangudai, and more villagers are dying. Healing conversions, and at this point I do not realize, but there was one villager secretly. There are 2 villagers, and all these villagers randomly just came at the town center, finished the job, and we had to back off. Most of my offensive force has died. The monk will die, and there's nothing much I can do. Green has managed to go past and beyond the castle, so he's going to be behind enemy lines trying to attack his eco. Calamitous, what a great castle drop, preventing all this stone being mined, and this is going to be quite beneficial for him. I do get rams out to try and deal with it. At the same time, I did not see this coming, but yellow has arrived with knights, and he has quite a large number of knights that we cannot deal with at this point of the game. These battering rams are going to go down not after a few knights after a couple of knights get killed by these Mangudai. Endless Charge doing the best he can to aggro the knights into my castle. These knights are going to suffer a lot of damage, although these knights are upgraded with the second ability, so they do have 4 pierce armor and 4 attack, 4 melee armor. Here 4 more knights. I did not expect this at all, so I retreated back to my castle, and these knights are taking quite a lot of bruising from this castle due to the PS armor that they have researched. Even Endless Charge is having a bit of difficulty to try and deal with this, mindlessly running around. He has lost the unit here. We see purple here coming out. We see purple from all the way over there coming out with some scout cavalry, so he's trying to get in the fun, trying to join in the fun. Unfortunately, he is fighting underneath a castle, so even if these knights can handle the beating, these knights are gonna die. A lot of knights were lost, but more knights have been made. Yellow having a massive score alongside contesting with Endless Calamitous. Calamitous is in. He's gonna try and see. Let's see what Calamitous is gonna be doing here. Again on this side, monks, Mamelukes, knights being converted. I'm trying my best. Endless Charge has 3 villages here. He's most likely gonna try and go for some more buildings, or another castle perhaps, and he's building more Mangonite to try and replenish his force. In the meantime, the palisade wall going up over here. Endless Charge, Calamitous, sorry, is in. He's building another castle. He's going to force a castle drop. He's going to force a couple of siege workshops, dropping some siege workshops over here as well. And at this point, Calamitous does realize that there is a castle there as well. But this position here is actually quite beneficial, as he will control the gold mine. And it will be quite detrimental to purple. At this point, we're gonna keep the game down to normal speed, as there is a lot of action happening at both ends. So we're gonna have to try and see what's happening over here. So yellow here trying to fight here under the castle, under the influence of monks. Mangudai hammering down, and simply he is forced to retreat. Peter's coming in from myself. Peter's just gonna go. Perhaps this was a waste. Perhaps I didn't macromanage the Peters properly, but I do attack the Peters over here. Rams are coming out. A spam of rams are coming out for Calamitous, and he's gonna go straight to the castle, I do believe. He does have quite a sufficient number of Jaguar warriors. Seeing as though he's built a castle, he doesn't have any barracks. It makes sense, I guess. You don't usually see Jaguar warriors accompanying people, but Jaguar warriors against Teutons is perfectly acceptable, I guess, since Teuton's unique unit is the knight. Even if cavalry were made, these Jaguar warriors have a lot of attack, so they would have been doing a lot of damage. These rams are being uncontested and just going to be simply hammering this castle until it goes down. At this point, it sure looks like barracks are coming up for Calamitous, and it does look like Calamitous is gonna completely force purple out of here, or he's gonna be destroyed. It's as simple as that. Purple, seeing purple, he does have trade, and surprisingly, perhaps he didn't anticipate this sort of rush being happening, since Calamitous did wall. But in a game where there's no rules, anything can happen. I have a lot of monks. I have a lot of monks with redemption as well, and I'm just simply trying to convert these buildings here. Why not? Take them for myself. We see yellow increasing his army size, making a town center here. He's making a defensive castle has been placed, and we see Grimace here having a little base over here. Of course, I do not realize that he has a base there at all. He's got a little of economy here, and at this point, what I wanted to completely halt the Goth player has occurred, and that is quite beneficial for both Endless Charge and me fighting on this side. Yellow, his score is pretty high. So is a player to look out for. We're seeing a lot of rams coming in, and Calamitous is going ham with the rams, and he's just trying to destroy everything as fast as possible and just clean up this base as fast as possible. We're seeing a lot of eagle warriors coming out for Calamitous. We're seeing the great push. Now here, instruct everyone and endless charge to move to this location to try and see if there is anything happening over here that we are not aware of. Also, providing having monks have such a monks are underrated in the fact that they do have a vastly superior line of sight than as opposed to knights and general archers. And I do see a knight, and this knight is going to be part of my army. But what I do not see coming is this army over here, and having these knights in the front exposed. This is going to be a very bad battle for me. I do have a few spearmen, but really, what can a few spearmen do? Calamitous just hammering it down. Even more rams are coming out. Even more eagle warriors. He's looking good on his end. And over here, we're trying to battle endless charge, trying to micro the best as he can, trying to snipe as many knights as he can, and trying to not lose his Mangudai. But in doing so, he has left most of my units here struggling, surviving. But I guess that's part of the tactic that he employed. He has regrouped with more of his men over here. There is a castle. There is another castle. This is going to be like these knights are once again fighting under the range of these castles. Yellow, congrats to him for having the balls to fight under castles time and time and again. For him, he simply does not see castles as a threat, as he just goes in ham and he loses all his units. Perhaps if he was wiser in knowing when to retreat and not fighting underneath the castles, he might have been in a better position with a larger army. Perhaps. We're seeing a large amount of buildings from green here, but still no units. Green most likely just going to keep booming, as really there's nothing much he can do at this point. The 3 rams that were sent to destroy this castle were killed by the knights, and we're seeing a large influx of skirmishers arriving. At this point, what is to note is that yellow's score is on par, just slightly behind red, and Calamitous has a large army. The combined army of both Endless Charge and myself is simply not able to handle this. All these skirmishers, even though they're not upgraded, it will be a very efficient exchange to try and deal with this. It will force Endless Charge to back off and try and see to employ a different strategy. It is at this point that I realize, let's get a few villages in, let's build our base over here, wall this section up so we don't get hit from behind, as this is the only way to come around. We see that lake. Just keep an eye out on that lake for the time being. We see an army increasing exponentially while our armies are not increasing as fast as we would like. Calamitous is finally gonna engage and is thinking to engage on this section here. We're seeing knights coming out from. Knights is a very good choice. We're seeing a lot of stables going up, and we're gonna most likely, but we're seeing the Byzantines, so we're most likely going to be seeing paladins from this guy here. And at this point, I alert my teammate that look, my outpost is going down, and there is a large amount of units here that will destroy him. I continue making spearmen, although they're not upgraded. I try and do my best. Calamitous still not. This was undoubtedly one of the biggest mistakes Calamitous made this game. This mistake made the game last longer than it should have. Yes, Calamitous has destroyed Purple, forced him out of his base, but to stay idle for this long, and while you have this many rams, is not acceptable. I'm sorry. Calamitous could have pushed in here with his rams, and really, if he did at that time, even these knights, there would have at most been 5 to maybe 6, 7 knights. Yes, there would have been castles, but no problem. He has a lot of battering rams, easy. But because he delayed not using all these rams, and that was one of the reasons why orange is amassing is amassing his army over here. We unfortunately on our side we knew that yellow was building a massive army and we could just hold out and defend, but Calamitous, I guess after being bloodthirsty all this time, he thought let's have a break. But really, if you're gonna stay bloodthirsty, you might as well go pillage everyone. There's a saying, I guess. If you're gonna pillage one person, you might as well pillage everyone. In AoE, of course, not in real life. That would be horrible. So here I start building galleys. So I thought, since I walled up here, and I only left the only path into the base is this narrow gap, which is in the range of these castles, that I would make use of galleys over here. Looking at if we look at the size of Yellow's army relative to our army, Yellow's army 76. At this point, not only has Yellow's villager production surpassed Red, his army production is now at 80, 30 more than Calamitous. Endless Charge, both me and Endless Charge have 23, let's say 40, an army of 40. An army of 40, while he has an army 4 times as big as us, and it's only 3 times as big as us, and it's only rising as time goes on, and it's only rising, while our army isn't rising in size as much. Calamitous again just waiting it out, not the best situation, and he has cavaliers. This amount of cavaliers is dangerous considering only Calamitous is making eagle warriors, and he has no idea the trouble he's going to be facing when those become paladins. He has waited too long, and that was his problem. Here I forgot to see, but skirmishers were trying to attack this galley over here, so I was macroing the galley to go back so my mangonels could fire, and these are all the casualties from the mangonel fire. So there's around 8 skirmishers that died, but still it's not gonna hinder an army of 90. An army of 90 here. This is a massive army. He's finally putting forward his trebuchets, and he's gonna try and push. Considering the vast majority of his army is comprised of elite skirmishers, and most of our army has Mangudai, not the best of situations at all. Calamitous finally heading in. He's got a trebuchet attacking the far castle, the northern gate, while the southern gate of this little section here is going to be rammed down, literally. We're seeing a large amount of eagle warriors and jaguar warriors, but unfortunately there's nothing you can do with this. So here I'm just trying to micro the best I can with the galleys, but unfortunately a castle is there, so I won't be able to make use of this area here. Luckily galleys do have 6 PS armor. You'll understand why I say that later on. But here I'm oblivious to the fact that the trebuchet is attacking and he is trying to kill my mangonels. Even after killing one mangonel, that is quite a big improvement for him. So at this point, 90 army for Yellow, and I believe he has hit the pop cap. Yep, he has hit the pop cap. Calamitous is now going in. A bit late. Perhaps if he anticipated that there was going to be paladins, maybe this would have been a right call. If all these were pikemen, maybe. But of course, he had no way to know. So war galley is finally coming in. I'm making more docks. A war galley trapped here, but I left it there. I'm not sure why. And I engage all my pikemen to try and deal with this. Trebuchet. And as soon as that happens, the hail of skirmishers start arriving. And even though these skirmishers only deal 1 damage, the large number of skirmishers is really a threat in itself against my ships. But all throughout this area here, even finally Yellow has paladins, fully upgraded paladins. This is not looking good for us at this point. Yellow's score is even larger, and look at this massacre over here. Orange has gotten in. He has come in and is hammering down. He's not even afraid of the 2 castles that are here, And he's just yellow. Oh my god. Speaking of the paladins, this paladins, oh my god, we're seeing a massive paladin force. A massive paladin force from both yellow and orange. And this is crazy. Yes, Calamitous won this engagement, but seeing the mass number of paladins, how is he gonna defeat this paladin force without aid? Meanwhile, here we're seeing so many skirmishers. Luckily, skirmishers are being aggroed by all the ships, and even though they're not doing that much damage, they are hurting as so many times all my ships are not even at. They're constantly being hammered and hammered. Luckily that castle is down, so we're gonna have some sort of advantage to push here. I'm constantly making ships to try and deal with these skirmishers. Endless Charge cannot engage over here. And at this point, the combined armies of yellow and orange are being subdued as it looks, but a constant flux of paladins is gonna arrive. And at this point, it seems like Calamitous has everything under control. And one of the mistakes Calamitous made was not transitioning to pikemen now. If he saw the first wave of paladins and he did not transition to pikemen, then he essentially lost this side for himself, because there is no point in making eagle warriors. There simply is no point. It would be best to make pikemen to try and deal with this. Had he made pikemen, all these paladins would have been gone. He would have had this area to himself, but he was not able to. Paladins coming on this side as well. More of my ships trying to deal with this. I'm making more spearmen to try and help out this Mangudai force down here. Again, just using these. Unfortunately, yellow decided to focus the skirmishers with the war galleys, so it was good for us. In reality, the mistake was made. Like, these skirmishers, or at least half of them, should have engaged these Mangudai. These Mangudai were the only thing holding the land force there. And at this point, we can see clearly Calamitous has expended his resources. Let's take a look at Calamitus's economy. As of right now, he's not able to spam as much, and simply he got over. Yellow's army and Yellow's economy is formidable. To be able to fight on both sides and defend against 3 players is very impressive. Very impressive. Orange also coming in with his paladin force. Simply, Calamitous has no chance. Finally, we're seeing spearmen from Calamitous. Unfortunately, Calamitous hasn't researched Iron Furnace, nor has he researched the Aztec +4 attack, which is a shame. It would have really helped him. He has yet to research pikemen, but unfortunately there's nothing he can do. There are caped rams coming in from orange, and these 2 castles are going to go down. More and more ships amassing here, and all the while this endless skirmisher spam isn't stopping for no reason. This skirmisher spam is concentrating on the ships for some reason. Endless Charge trying to see what he can do to try and go in, but against paladins he really needs to back off and try and deal with it in another way. I try and build a castle here. I'm not sure why, but the moment I started building a castle, yellow does engage and he's trying to kill my villagers. Calamitous, Endless Charge is going to be building a castle over here. Endless Charge trying to micro the best he can to try and force in a position. I got a large number of ships here, but unfortunately I do not have enough docks to make more. A larger number of ships are really needed, as these skirmishers do soak up a lot of damage, even though my ships soak up a lot of damage too. We're finally seeing upgrades, fully upgraded pikemen. Well, not exactly, just missing this unique special upgrade, and these pikemen are gonna be dealt with. However, more paladins are coming out for orange, and orange, it seems like orange is going straight for the castle over here. Meanwhile, the paladins here that were once there were forcefully pushed back. The skirmishers are coming forward. More pikemen from myself, not upgraded at all, but at least it's fodder for Endless Charge's Mangudai force. If we look at this place, simply he does not have the resources to hold, and he is just going to die. This forward base is going to be lost unless he can pull out resources from somewhere. We're seeing mangonels coming in, and unfortunately mangonels is just going to get hit by the paladins. The amount of paladins that are here are too much, and it seems like at this point we are not only losing the water, but we simply lost the land, and having an isolated area with just water forces is not going to be well. We're seeing more units being made by more pikemen being made by Orange, and it seems like this pikeman force is gonna actually take care of this. Is he gonna take care of this? Doesn't seem like it. Let's have a look at this point. Nope. Unfortunately, there's not enough pikemen there. Yellow on this side has managed to push, and his score is formidable. Orange's score is also formidable. Grimace also just booming up the best he can. Perhaps Grimace will start providing support later in pushing. Everyone stay tuned, and you will see what exactly Grimace does. He will, nothing too fancy, but he does boom up. This boom that he's been doing does come into play now, since the game does last longer than he anticipated. All the resistance that was once there has ended. All these buildings are going to get cleaned up. And at this point, I'm telling Endless Charge that we have lost this section and we need to back off. As for now, it's just a cleanup job, and all my docks are gone and my ships are going to start going off. Endless Charge and Calamitous and Time Builder have been pushed back. Meanwhile, we're seeing Green booming the whole game, silently just watching everything that's happening. And Green has built a lot of pikemen here, and he has realized that there's going to be a need for pikemen here if they are to push and destroy this player over here. At this point, it seems like Orange has lost out. He does not have enough resources, so the paladin force that swept through the forward base, this is the remaining paladin force that remains. So anything that comes after it is simply trash and just not going to be able to compete. Castles going up. Goths. Grimace finally coming out with some Huskals. Try and see what he's doing. Endless Charge is just telling Green where's his army at, and his army is here to try and defend his ally, defend this side. I continue building the Great Wall of China over here to try and block his passage as much as possible. Let's speed up the game a bit. Nothing happened. We just got the stray amount of paladins that are trying to take care of and deal with this force. So at this point, this is what we see. And having walled up, we see that he's not only has he moved, but he seems to be going in this direction here. If we look at Red's still trying his best to hold on, and he's trying to see what he can do. He's got a large number of pikemen, so all these pikemen are killing. Even though he's pushed back, he lost a lot of units. With the help of Green coming in and all his mass pikemen coming out, he has managed to push. Unfortunately, what the mistake Orange has made was not being able to produce spam, even if it was halberdiers as well, or pikemen. He should have added that in the combination of his units. It would have even been beneficial had he even chosen, once he saw that pikemen were being built, to go hand cannoneers along with pikemen as well. Maybe that would have completely decimated both their armies. As if you look at the army composition, it's all infantry, all spam. We're seeing yellow here trying to see which direction he's going, and it seems like he wants to go through down the middle. And here we see the great, we see down the middle everything's exposed. The only path, if this cavalry force does manage to get into our base, it's going to do a lot of damage, and we simply did not prepare enough and did not wall enough. I do try and build a wall, but unfortunately this one isn't gonna hold him, and he does go through. This is what we see, the horror. A quick wall made by green here. However, red doesn't make a quick wall. Instead, he decides to build a wall here, and we did tell him about this. And red has managed to regain his honor and regain his forward base with the help of green as well. Green is just standing idly in front of the gate. Nobody's coming through. The gate is closed. Red just in time, just in the nick of time, managed to build this wall, and thank God he did. Otherwise, our economies would have been in a lot of trouble. As of this moment, we're seeing all the army come down the middle, and I tell Endless Charge that I will make the pikemen, and he makes the elite skirmishers. In reality, it really should have been the other way around, as Koreans do get halberdiers and I do get fully upgraded skirmishers. But at the time, since I built barracks, I decided to just go with the flow. So I let Endless Charge that we are fighting down the middle, and the gate, unfortunately, a really newbie mistake of keeping villagers near the gate once it's constructed, leaves it open, and it allows units to go through. Calamitous has double walled here, so yellow won't be coming through here. Calamitous, green is making halberdiers and champions, so he's gonna try and push with red on this side. Again, but although orange had an amazing push in the end, still no trash units. Perhaps he's building trash units now, but it really should have been made a lot earlier than what he is doing now. Pikemen coming in, and these pikemen are gonna make mincemeat of these paladins over here. There simply isn't enough paladins to soak up all that damage, even if they are Frankish paladins. Paladins are gonna make mincemeat of this area here, and a castle going up, and this castle will go up. So as of right now, the fight has begun, and the fight is now gonna be in the middle. In the meantime, Calamities and Endless Charges cleaning up their forward bases here, and again, all this waiting is not good. You should take a page out of Yellow's book in the fact that not only did he wipe out our forward base, he went straight to attack us. Teal is making the mistake of not utilizing all these units, even though they're not fully upgraded. Send them to help Yellow and help in the push. Constant pressure is the key. And here I tell Green to delete the gate, as currently it is not beneficial to us. It's just allowing me to not be able to get to the skirmishers, while the skirmishers can fire on us. Fortunately for me, the gate is going to get destroyed by by Yellow's trebuchets. Finally, we're seeing Rams, and Calamitous is going to start attacking here. Meanwhile here, luckily due to the large number of trash that we have, we are not getting outplayed over here. I start researching caped rams, and I also start researching chemistry and mangonels, onagers and mangonels very soon. Sorry, siege onagers very soon, to try and deal with this castle. Endless Charge and the spam that we have simply is just a lot more than Yellow. Yellow and his team they're currently suffering from the lack of trade. All this army that Teal has really should be used, as of right now, Teal has missed a lot of of his thing. Teal not helping him has allowed Endless Charge and myself to push. Red now finally looking to push in. We're seeing halbs here, not fully upgraded. Still no unique upgrade. Perhaps he has forgotten about it. Seeing a trebuchet, and that trebuchet is gonna start firing at that castle. So sooner or later, that trebuchet is gonna deal with it. Unfortunately, this treb is going to go down as there are 5 paladins. I do get some onagers out, since I do realize that since this game is going to become a trash war, having siege onagers and onagers is going to be a very it's going to be a key deciding factor in how we win, especially if the enemy has been massing siege skirmishers all this time. Having more onagers really means that we'll be able to deal with it. Here I get a cape round behind over here and just trying to hammer down this thing. Yeah, at this point I'm not sure what's going on with these guys, but they are blocking their own path to destruction, allowing more time to be given to orange, which is not what you want. Bear in mind, at this point yellow has completely died to the point where he was not able to get back into the game. Remus, however, is now back in the game. He is able to pump out units. He's got a decent number of 80 villagers, 89 military. His military is on par, the same size as yellow. And with this combined army, they're gonna try and see if they can't push. And at this point, here we have mangonels here, and elite mangodai being placed at the far back by Endless Charge is not the best of ideas, I should say. We're seeing champions from green, and we're seeing a few halberdiers from green coming out here to help us out. Green has been booming this whole game, and luckily at this point he has the sufficient resources and to try and attack and deal with everyone. I am nearly finishing researching siege onagers, and then I will have a massive advantage. All these skirmishes here are going to be dealt with as a result. Finally, here we see a massive battle happening. A massive battle here. Pikemen, green, paladin staying at the back, just waiting their chance to get into the fight. We're fighting underneath a castle, so there is going to be a bit of a problem. But the amount of units that combined red and green have here is just like, it's a wave. It's a wave that's just pushing in and not letting anything pass. Nearly all of Orange's halberdiers have died, and his paladins were forced to retreat. Red's battering rams are trying to come in here and trying to do the best they can. Paladins also here. Siege onagers, constant siege onagers being made, and here I start screwing at Endless Charge for not going closer to protect my siege onagers, as the siege onagers are the key to winning this game, and if they constantly get destroyed by paladins that are coming in, then there's really no chance. But at this point, look at the amount of spam that we are able to produce. This seems to be going on in our favor. Not to mention that both red and green have pushed on this side and have just done tremendous amounts of damage. Here, both my armies and green's army, they are going to engage, and I see the opportunity to snipe all of these skirmishers and just trying to get in there, but being blocked, being destroyed, being attacked upon. Even more siege onagers waiting, more siege rams coming in. Finally I get that beautiful hit, and another hit. Even more skirmishers dying. Just opening up the path here so I can get my siege rams to attack this castle. This was another castle, the second castle that he built over here, try and deal with us. Meanwhile, red has just completely pushed, and even these paladins, there's simply nothing these paladins can do. There's simply not enough paladins to deal with this force. Grey is fighting. There seems to be a stalemate, but it's looking like we are going to be able to push. More siege onagers coming in from me. We have more siege rams being built by me. Grimace also focusing on his eco as well, so he's able to pump out units at a very stable rate. But at this point, due to the annihilation of purple, this game is a 3v4, as purple has yet to really recover from the destruction that he faced. Unlike Grimace, Grimace wasn't completely destroyed, but he was forced to move his economy elsewhere. Skirmishers moving in. We're just moving in to try and see what we can do. Firing on the castle. This castle still hasn't died. And here we see a massive flux of eagle warriors now coming in from, and more rams coming in from Calamitous. Here, telling everyone to just delete the walls so we can like force our teams in better. And looking at the size of the armies here, even if trash units come, we're simply destroying them very fast. Red and green have this area cleared up, and it's just simply a matter of them winning here. And at this stage, finally the Huskars have arrived, but there simply isn't enough Huskars to deal with this force. Yellow at this point has been forced to make trash only. He does have a few paladins and stuff lying around, but nothing too substantial. Pardon me for that yawning. We're seeing some Teutonic Knights, not upgraded, but really there's nothing these Teutonic Knights can do at this stage. Even the massive skirmishers that are present will be able to really force these Teutonic Knights to die. Apart from the hot pink color coming in, there really isn't anything too flashy about that army over there. More rams coming in, and still this castle hasn't died. Finally, it has all the villages getting massacred, and it's beautiful, a beautiful scene indeed. There's been a stalemate in this situation for a time, and we can finally push forward. And see. At this point, it's worth to note what happens is we're simply moving into their base, and just before we arrive at their base, they do GG. But I'd like to talk about a few really key points in this game, and one of the reasons why this game lasted so long that it did is because Grimace was killed early on. He did manage to recover Grimace, but he wasn't able to recover to the point where he could utilize the Goth's unique advantage in being able to produce mass Huskars and mass infantry. He wasn't able to. And look at this enormous trash fest. This trash fest is simply outrageous. Endless Charge having 120 military and myself having 66. This is just trash and trash and trash. While Calamitous over here just ripping apart everything you can, destroying everything you can. There is resistance still from Orange, but soon these two will die down. Purple bringing in some trebuchets. Interesting choice. Perhaps Bombards would have been a better choice in this situation. Shoot from afar, shoot faster, more accurately. But yeah. But I have to give props to and credit to Yellow being able to hold off our side, pushing and utterly destroying our offensive on our side, and then using his paladins combined with oranges to push really destroyed red. But the problem orange did and had was he did not transition into trash, and he simply did not destroy the buildings fast enough. If there's one thing, if you have 10 barracks still alive and you're going and attacking the houses, or you're going and doing something else while there are 10 bases, it simply isn't, you're not simply able to do as much. And Calamitous not being forcefully entering his base earlier was also a mistake on his part. Perhaps he didn't realize, perhaps he thought that he needed to build a bigger army, but even if he provided the pressure, he still would have been, if he attacked as soon as he recovered, then as soon as he destroyed purple, he would have been able to win his engagement and his side. Grey of course being rushed by 2 players. Unfortunately, there's nothing really he could do to try and save it, but he did recover and he's trying to do his best. We finally start seeing some light cavalry by yellow, and he's out of gold and he's spending his remaining gold on trebuchets. He's trying his best to deal with this situation here, but not much you could do. One of the game-changing moments as well, as we were battling and fighting all this time, it won't be rude, but we forgot the presence that green was even in the game. That was how passive green was playing all this time. We only realized green was in the game when we said, when we were completely pushed back by yellow, then did we question where green's army was and did it even exist at the time. Of course, after that happened, he did start making halberdiers to start helping red on his side, so he did play a big role in the fact that he was able to boom to the point where he could do such a thing. So I guess placement in this game was also beneficial to us. If had green been on the outside or the flanks, maybe this would have been a different situation. We could have got pushed back. Calamitous would have been booming instead of forcing a rush. Completely different situation. It would have allowed purple to live, and then it would have been a real 4v4 situation. And then at that point, perhaps the game would have gone in a different direction. My Rams are just coming in, destroying everything the best I can, and this game will be over very soon. Just moving in and just moving in. And at this point, Calamitous has siege rams. He's just cleaning up, and he's realizing that there's nothing left, and he's just gonna send his army and all his rams to try and deal with these units. It's surprising that Calamitous still hasn't researched that that upgrade, the +4, the Garland Wars, the +4, I believe, +4 attack on every infantry unit. All these trebuchets will die. All these light cavalry, all these halberdiers. You can see that trash army coming in here from thing. The yellow. I admire the resistance of yellow being able to produce such an army and holding back. Truly is a phenomenal player here that we played with, and luckily we simply had the advantage of having one player immediately being destroyed and out of the game. Look at this army over here, a massive army here, and really, it's really GG. There's nothing these guys can do at this point that they haven't tried already. And with that, in a few minutes, the game goes on to this bit here, where we, just before we enter into this domain here, all the players resign, and at that point, really, the game, there's nothing much to say. So, props to yellow and orange for playing this game. Mistakes were made from all players, of course. Perhaps yellow should have built a few. Perhaps if yellow built trade, this would have been a very different game for us. But unfortunately, he did it, and lucky us, we managed to secure a win. Thanks for watching, guys. This has been Time Wielder. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.